What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 60 of the Chumpcast. Brick doesn't love you anymore, so Mark and I met up on the spookiest day of the year, Friday the 13th in October. We also debate which day is the worst day of the year, talk about Harvey Weinstein being a shitbag, and discuss new movie trailers. Our review for the week is Happy Death Day, starring Jessica Rothe, and you're probably going to want to hear that instead of actually going to see the movie. Alright, listen. You need new clothes. Seriously, you look terrible. You might as well get some of ours by going to tpublic.com and searching Chumpcast. The least you could do is rate us on iTunes. It will make you prettier on the inside. Enjoy the show.
Cubbies, man. just talk about the Cubbies the whole time.
I'm so goddamn tired. I read something this morning on Twitter that said that was the longest 9-inning game of baseball ever.
It was 4 hours.
It was 5 hours.
Was it 5 hours?
It started at 7. It was over at midnight.
I thought it was 4.5 hours going into the bottom of the ninth, so I figured it was like 4:45.
Yeah, it was probably like 4:50, which is ridiculous for a baseball game that's already boring.
That's just 9 innings.
13 different pitchers. Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted physically and mentally.
I had a legit pit in my stomach, probably from the second inning up until the ninth.
You're not allowed to text me anymore during these games.
I think I should be banned from tweeting too.
Yeah, you should. You're texting me this stuff like, oh man, I got a bad feeling about this. That's the equivalent of drunk Erica texting me in the middle of the day and saying, we need to talk later.
I'm just super pessimistic overall with the Cubs because I've witnessed some of the worst shit you can witness.
You also watched them win a World Series.
Yeah, I was also at Game 7, but
yeah, everybody's seen the GIF, okay?
Yeah, being at the Steve Bartman game as a 9-year-old kid with my dad standing right next to me and looking me right in the eyes as we're in the stands after that ball goes through Alex Gonzalez's legs.
Wait, let me guess. Let me guess what he said.
What?
Mark, this is all your fault.
Yeah, he smacked the shit out of me and told us we had to get out of there and told me to go burn my Dusty We Trusty shirt.
You never should have had that shirt in the first place.
No, he turned to me and he was like, they will never win a World Series in your lifetime, especially not in mine.
Well, your dad was wrong.
My dad was very wrong, and he was at the Game 7 World Series game last year with me. And if you were there sitting next to him, you would have been so pissed because he's way more pessimistic than I am.
I have enough negative thoughts in my brain without having to fucking listen to somebody on the outside tell me that shit sucks. I get it.
The funniest part is, so my whole family knows how my dad is with sports. He's that way in general. But when we were at the game, so they actually showed him on TV first. I think it was the bottom of the ninth inning. They showed him on TV, and that's when they tied up the game, when Cleveland tied the game up. And all my cousins were texting like me and my dad, and they're like, oh, we just saw Uncle John on TV. He's the curse. Because that right when they showed his face, they tied the game up. And my dad was so pissed. He's like, you see what happens when I bring you to games and we come to these games? This is what always fucking happens to this team.
That's your fault, right?
But then they showed me freaking out right after they showed my dad, and then we took the lead and ended up winning the game later on.
I'm not saying it was my doing, but
you got to be a special sort of person to be a Cubs fan. Every game in general that is a meaningful game and is very important
at all
is a fucking nail biter.
Yeah. Except for the one game that we went to in the NLCS last year, the Dodgers game that closed it out, Game 6. That one was a laugher. But outside of that, they've all been nightmares. Like, I don't know how I don't have ulcers. I don't know why I still do this to myself. But
are you a little nervous going into playing the Dodgers this weekend?
To face the best team in the league? Yeah, a little bit.
Especially after what happened last year. What was how did the series end last year? What did we take?
It was Game 6. You and I were there. That was the game you and I went to.
Oh, yeah, we were there.
Yes. Yeah, that was the game you and I went to, and then they destroyed Kershaw on short rest. But yeah.
That was a great game.
They say that it's not a series until the home team loses. So I guess we'll see what happens. I was dumb enough to go out there Tuesday, even though everybody was saying the entire time, there's no way that they're going to play this game. But they waited until the very last minute to cancel it.
Yeah.
So I was sitting in the bleachers, getting rained on, maybe 10 minutes from first pitch, and then they canceled the fucking game. Can you imagine how pissed off you would have been if you had driven in from 4 hours away, booked a hotel room, paid $60 to park, you get a beer, you go sit in your seat, and as soon as you sit down, they're like, oh, sorry, it's canceled. That's a bullshit move.
How did they do it? Did you just hear word of mouth, or did they announce something?
No, like the ushers came through and threw people out. Like, sorry, game's not happening today. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do it all over again.
with his food.
Yeah, let's just record over it. Anything you hear in the background is...
I don't even know how to describe my dog, of a rabbit, of a shark, of a bear pig. He's freaking out right now.
I think he's the dog version of Brick. Can't focus on anything.
Oh shit! So he's throwing around a rawhide, little stick bone thing right now. He's in the sense like a shark. How sharks would take? What would they take? Sea lions or seals or whatever the fuck they are, and they throw them around in the air. You ever see those videos of them? They'll play with their food before they eat it.
They knock them
out.
So
they're literally throwing sea lions 20 feet up in the air before they're eating them. Can you chill out? Thank you.
No, he can't. He literally cannot.
All right, let's get back to the Cubs real quick. I went to bed super happy, but in the back of my mind, that play that technically, quote unquote, should have been probably interference, where the ball slipped under the catcher's legs, went to the backstop on a strike 3 call where the bat hit the glove.
Yeah, Matt Wieters was complaining.
Yeah, they should have called it dead.
But he didn't hit his glove. Javi hit him in the face mask.
Oh yeah, not the glove.
I struggle with this because it didn't impede the play, but by the letter of the law, it should have been a dead ball. But that also doesn't mean that they wouldn't have scored there, that they wouldn't have gotten another run, that Javi wouldn't have gotten on base, whatever. If it's a dead ball, it's a dead ball.
Let's say that they got that call and that inning just ended right there and we never got those runs. I'm not just going to assume the game would have been over after that.
Right, because there's a million other
multiple other scenarios could have happened.
Jason Worth still misses that double, which scores a run.
There could have been different emotions in the players and just been more out to get more runs. And
look, I've been on the other side of that too, where I'm like, oh, well, if one thing happens, my team wins the fucking championship. But you can't think that way. What happened, happened.
I hate when people think that way. When there's one call and it's a very important call that may have been miscalled, and then they say to themselves, oh, if we would have got out of that inning or out of that period or out of that quarter or whatever,
or if we
would have won the game because X happened that period, that quarter.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for Nationals fans because most of them are dickheads on Twitter.
Honestly, the Cubs probably shouldn't have won that game, but they did, and that's how baseball works.
Tough titties. Get out my face.
Tough titties. But go Cubbies. I'm looking forward to the series against the LA Dodgers. We'll see what happens. I'm very nervous because they are. I would say that they're very good.
I think they're pitching
not the best team in baseball right now. I think we probably
get to them outside of Kershaw, but whatever. We'll see. Are you going to go to any of these games?
If there is a reasonable price for a ticket and the opportunity rises and it's a good time, it's good timing, then yes, I'll go.
You got to know somebody who knows somebody. Otherwise, we can just go to a bar. Mark, let's get into our stupid question of the week. Being that today is Friday the 13th, and I had some of the worst luck ever today because you made me go see this movie that sucked. My question is, what is the worst day of the year? So let me preface this because a quick Google searching will tell you that a Dr. Cliff Arnall actually figured this out. Mathematically, he claims. And I say he's full of shit, but whatever.
He might be right.
Based on his calculations, the worst day of the year falls on a Monday around the 3rd week of January.
I don't know about a Monday. Most likely a Tuesday.
I agree with you, but here's his rationale. Post-Christmas, debts are due. Like, you max out your credit card buying everybody presents. The weather is shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. Most people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions, which is sad to think that 3 weeks into the year you've already be done with it. I can't say that that's the case for everybody, but yeah, I get it. You emotionally consider that the joy of Christmas is over. I don't necessarily agree with that because Christmas is stressful as fuck. The motivation level is low because of cold weather and shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Gets dark at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And the last point he makes is that we don't have anything to look forward to in the immediate future. And I kind of agree with this because personally at my work, I get Martin Luther King Day off. It's like the second Monday in January.
Yeah.
And after that, you don't get another day off until, I don't think I get another day off until Memorial Day,
mm-hmm.
which is absurd. It's not fair. I get all of his points, but also he's wrong because the worst day of the year is the Tuesday after the Super Bowl.
Oh, I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, because all of those things still apply, but also football just ended, and it's not the Monday after the Super Bowl, where you're still kind of riding that high. You're talking about what happened in the game.
Yeah, and you're waking up hungover, realizing you just ate your body weight in buffalo wings, queso dip.
Queso, yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. And also, personally, don't at me on Twitter. The worst day of the week is Tuesday. It's not Monday. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm going to be selfish. Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead. I can't possibly go any more than that.
I'm going to be selfish with this question. I'm thinking not for the overall population in general would be the worst for everyone. I'm thinking what is the worst day for me? I would probably say the day after St. Patrick's Day.
Ooh.
Because usually you are extremely hungover. You go home
Usually
the day
that's
of
adorable.
St. Patrick's Day. I haven't made it out past 5. And you would think, oh, wow,
Really?
you probably got a lot. Dude, I've had some bad experiences with St. Patrick's Day. There was a time I went home at 1 o'clock. We were at, can't think of the bar. Name 3 popular bars in Wrigleyville that everyone goes to.
Deuces.
No.
Well, what
It's
year
like a
is
name,
this?
Patio something. No,
Like
it's
an
not
Irish
Patty.
place?
It's a
Murphy's?
name, though. Casey Moran's.
Okay.
Casey Moran's is the epitome of St. Patrick's Day in Wrigleyville.
Sure. I'll give you that.
St. Patrick's Day and the day after St. Patrick's Day could be the worst too. I would say the timeline of after 6 p.m. because that's when just shit goes down, when everyone in the world is smashed and you see the worst in people, especially in Chicago. So I'm speaking specifically, I don't know how it is in other cities, but Chicago St. Patrick's Day is pretty wild.
We're all dirtbags.
And I've never woken up the day after St. Patrick's Day and felt good about myself. I'm always,
Hey man, I made good decisions yesterday.
I'm always super, maybe still drunk and just realize, oh my God, I passed out at 6 o'clock. I got to wake up to an open handle of Jameson just sitting on the counter, looking at it once. I just want to barf instantly. Then you start looking online at all the people who are just drunken messes in Wrigleyville trying to fight with police officers. Overall, everyone is just in a bad state during St. Patrick's Day.
It definitely brings out
Towards
the
the
worst
end.
in people.
It does. And it's not a good look for humanity in general. I'm just thinking selfishly and thinking, what is one of the worst days of the year for you? And
Well, I would
for
argue
me,
that-
it's waking up the day after St. Patrick's Day.
There are other days of the year that are basically like, have you ever been to T-Box?
No, I
T-Box is
never
a
want
bar
to go to
crawl.
that
For
either.
those listening, T-Box is a bar crawl in Wrigleyville. It's the 12 bars of Christmas. It's, I believe, in December every year. And you go around and you eat cereal out of a box and you get hammered and you dress like Santa Claus or whatever. It is the most debaucherous thing I've ever seen in Chicago. And that is fucking saying something.
Yeah.
Because I've been here for 7 years now. And look, I like to partake. Everybody who listens knows that I go out and I drink more than I should, most likely. So I find myself in those situations. And T-Box is where I draw the line. I want nothing to do with that shit show.
I can guarantee that 80% of the people that go to T-Box are passed out by noon that day.
The last one I remember...
It starts at what, 8?
Yeah,
7?
it starts very early. The last one I remember, a guy... I'm trying to remember the name of the bar. It's an Iowa bar on Clark Street, but a guy in the bathroom broke a beer bottle and cut another guy's throat.
All right. That's not funny. That's murder.
It's not funny, but it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's first
What are you
degree.
doing? You're at a fucking bar in Wrigleyville. What did he step on your shoes? Yeah, I don't get that, but man, that took a dark turn, huh?
Wrigleyville in general, you
It's a
see
shit show.
some shit, man.
Yeah.
Just the people in Wrigleyville. I love Cubs fans, but half the time they're not even Cubs fans. They're just looking there to make. People are just there to looking
Get
to make an
hammered.
ass of themselves. You know.
You got any other candidates for this?
I don't think so.
I think a good
St.
one-
Patrick's Day. You brought up the weather too. With the
See,
weather
that's
in
the thing.
the weather in March sucks usually in Chicago. It's like sometimes the sun's out and you're wearing like a long sleeve and then you start getting hot and then you like put on a t-shirt and then the sun goes away and then it's back to like 40 degrees. I just think March weather sucks in general too.
Well, that's just Chicago, but I will say that one of the best, most fun days I've ever had in my entire life was the year I moved to Chicago. That St. Patrick's Day, it was 70 degrees and sunny all day, and that was a good time.
Did you feel good after?
No, of course not. But I was much younger then, so I recovered quicker.
I
But
was much younger, not so much wiser.
definitely not wiser. I will also throw into the hat whenever the time changes and basically you wake up and it's dark and you get off work and it's dark. So the fall
That
time
sucks.
change, fuck that.
I-
Daylight savings time is bullshit. I'm not a farmer. Most of us are not farmers. Daylight saving time needs to die.
That was always super depressing for me. When I started working in downtown Chicago after college, that first winter of my corporate work life, when I had to walk probably a mile, I was walking a mile there and back from work every day. I would get out at like 5 on the dot and walk home and it'd be fucking
Already
dark
dark.
out. And
Already
I'd be
dark.
super upset about that.
Yeah,
It'd
it's
be
bullshit.
freezing.
It's depressing.
I remember one time I was walking home and I just bought these new Cole Haan shoes and the sole fell off of my shoe for no reason. I wasn't like running or anything. The sole just fell off and it was pitch black out at 5 o'clock. And I remember thinking to myself, get me the fuck out of Chicago right now. I need to go to like Florida or California or something. The weather sometimes just gets you down in the dumps.
Let me flip this on its head. Let's end on a positive note. What's your favorite day of the year? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I think mine is the Friday or Saturday going into Memorial Day weekend. It's just starting to get warm out. You got a long weekend.
That's a good one.
Baseball started. The hockey and NBA playoffs are coming up. I'm all about that weekend.
I'm going to kind of roll off of that one. I really enjoy 4th of July weekend.
I will agree with that.
Everyone's super patriotic. Everyone's all about family and friends getting together, barbecuing, just drinking beer. Nobody's really worried about what bar they're going to go to, etc. It's just
chilling. You're just happy.
It's mainly about just being with the people that you enjoy spending time with and cracking a cold one, and the weather's always pretty nice for the most part. And you got fireworks too, which is pretty cool.
I mean, hot as dick, but whatever.
Speaking of fireworks real quick. So the fireworks show sucked ass. And here's what happened. So I went to Crystal Lake, where my fiance's from, and we went on our boat, and we're watching the fireworks. And word got out that this one citizen of the town donated upwards of like $10,000. So everyone was just for the fireworks, everyone was super excited for this fireworks show. They thought it was going to be the hit of the year, something no one has ever seen before. So we're on the boat watching the fireworks. They're fine. The fireworks cut off after 15 minutes. Which doesn't usually happen. And there was no finale. In the finale with fireworks?
Oh, yeah. Everything goes off.
They blow off the huge ones, and then there's the little, like, sparkling ones towards, like, the ground that are just going off nonstop. None of that shit happened. So everyone's looking at each other like, what the hell is going on? We look on Crystal Lake's, like, town Facebook page, and they're apologizing. They had some malfunction with the computer that they were using to light off these fireworks, so everyone was super pissed. I wonder what the guy was thinking that donated all that money just for.
Are we at the point in society where we need computers to light off fireworks?
Well, what do you think happened? What do you think they get like 20 kids, like 16-year-old kids, and say, "All right, you guys are going to be lighting up these mortars right here. You good with that?"
Fuck them, dude. That's how you learn. How you learn to blow shit up.
Fucking America, dude. Patriotism. Budweiser. You're drinking a Budweiser right now.
Goddamn right I am.
God, I couldn't even think of patriotism.
Yeah, think of that word. Last night was a long night.
It might be because all that's going on in the world right now. But
well, speaking of,
on another note,
let's get into our best man, woman, whatever alive of the week. Probably worst alive. I'm going to go first on this because I feel like this man deserves all the credit in the world. He is Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, who defended his flyweight belt in the UFC for the 11th straight time, breaking Anderson Silva's record of title defenses. And it wasn't just the fact that he did it, but it was the way in which he beat Ray Borg. It was the filthiest move I've ever seen.
He looked like he was going to Rey Mysterio,
Please.
like scoop his head with his legs and flip him over, but then he just like jumped up on his neck.
No, dude, he suplexed him and immediately just transitioned into an armbar. And it was so filthy. I don't even know what to call it. Everybody on the internet is trying to dub it the mouse trap. Nobody's ever going to be able to do this again because it's such a ridiculous move. But I just felt like this needed some mention here. He's the best fighter out there right now. I wish he would go up a weight class and fight TJ Dillashaw or one of these other guys that, in the 135 weight class, but he's going to stay flyweight until he gets paid the big bucks. And I don't blame him. That's just a businessman move. Do yourself a favor and Google this. Google Mighty Mouse suplex armbar. Disgusting.
Is Conor McGregor going to fight Diaz? Is that confirmed yet for third fight?
Probably. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm so sick of that circus.
It's the third fight, right? Not the fourth?
This would be the third.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we do have is George St. Pierre and his return to the octagon with Michael Bisping.
Oh, shit. We got to watch that then. I used to be a big George St. Pierre fan, and then he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. What happened to him?
Well, he just stopped fighting.
Why?
I don't know. He wanted to retire, I guess. He wanted to go chase dinosaurs and aliens.
Why do you say
For real,
that?
he's a weird cat.
Oh, he's just weird.
He claims that...
Not into like Scientology or something?
No, he claims that he was abducted by aliens. which basically means he just has massive CTE and can never remember things because he gets punched in the face for a living, but that's neither here nor there. They kind of got into it at their press conference today, but, I'm not really that excited for this fight. I'll watch the fucking 30-second GIF on Sunday morning. Yeah, who's your best man alive of the week?
So I follow Barstool Sports on Instagram, obvi, but they posted this video of this kid from Oklahoma, this student from Oklahoma that goes into a lecture hall at UT and University of Texas and just starts trash talking out of his ass, saying how they're gonna whoop them and just talking mad shit to all these kids at University of Texas in the classroom. And then out of nowhere, this one student wearing a University of Texas jersey just outright spears him to the ground.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Call him a hero.
For sure is a hero. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I don't know if this is set up or not, but I don't really care.
It's 100% staged.
You think so?
There's no way that a professor would sit that calmly. Let's play the audio.
Play the video. Listen to the passion in this Oklahoma student's voice as he's screaming at the students in this classroom at the University of Texas. Just listen to the passion in his voice.
Freight train coming. And you know what's going to happen when that freight train hits your pussy ass offense? You are going to lose come Saturday. Come Saturday. Baker Mayfield will be here to guide your team.
He just spears the shit out of that kid. The whole class is
going
wild.
There's a 0% chance that that's not staged. The teacher in the background just standing there like, I don't.
Kids these days.
The kid still got rocked, so that's all I'm really here to see anyways.
UT, baby, hook 'em horns.
So your best man alive of the week is the guy who tackled him?
The passion in that Oklahoma student's voice was pretty intense, so he might get it too. I don't know. But yeah, I'm giving it to obviously the kid that speared him.
Everyone else in the world is tied for worst man alive of this week because everyone is a shitbag. And I just hate everything right now.
I would probably give worst man alive to me on Twitter as the Cubs are playing.
Yeah, you're definitely worse than Harvey Weinstein, right?
Even TJ, the Twitter king, texted me and was like, dude, can you just shut the hell up, please?
I'd be surprised if he was that kind to you, but yeah, you deserved it. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know.
I love you, bro, but...
especially when I'm tweeting things like, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. Stick to texting that to me.
It's all right. We won, baby. That's how I work things right there.
Great. All right. You want to get into the news?
I guess. What news we got?
We got 3 huge trailers this week, and I'm not going to get too deep into 2 of them. I'm not going to get that deep into any of them, but obviously we got the newest Justice League trailer dropped pretty much right after we recorded this last week. We've seen so much of this movie already that I don't like. I mean, it's not anything new. You get a little bit more Aquaman footage, which is cool. Does this make you feel anything? Did it make you dick move, Mark?
No, but I'm fine with that because they're not making this mistake they made with Doomsday and Batman vs Superman, which was a total giveaway. It just kind of ruined the movie right there. People were excited leading up to that movie, hoping that they wouldn't know who would be the ultimate villain. Obviously, we knew about Lex Luthor, but they kind of showed us way too much in those trailers, and I don't think they're doing that here, which is good.
I was worried at first that they were going to because they show it's Supes. So it's Superman at the beginning of the trailer. I'm like, okay, well, they're just giving away that he's coming back, but it's a flashback.
Yep.
Other than that, dude, I don't know. I don't care about this. I really don't.
All I'm saying is,
show me the fucking movie already.
Yeah. All I'm saying, to me, they're not giving away too much, which in the past, I feel like the DC trailers have been just dropping too much in the trailers and giving away most of the movie.
Fair enough. Obviously, everyone knows that we got the new Star Wars trailer this week for The Last Jedi, aired during Monday Night Football this week because that's how desperate ESPN is for viewers. Also, they knew that there wouldn't be any actual football to discuss in this Vikings versus Bears game.
You are lucky that I am not the biggest Bears fan in the world, so you're not going to argue with anyone.
Sorry, Case Keenum versus Mitch Trubisky in his first game ever wasn't a fucking barn burner.
What do you think about Mitch Trubisky?
He looked fine.
Exactly. That's fine.
It's not like he has anybody to play with out there. He's not throwing to fucking Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall 5 years ago.
I'm not going to lie. We pulled some quick ones on you guys. Made you guys look stupid for a little bit there, though.
Who's you guys?
You guys.
Fair enough.
I was referring to you as just not liking the Bears because you're a Green Bay fan.
Oh, I don't give a shit about the Bears, though. That's the thing is when you stomp a team for so long, it's just not a rivalry anymore.
I really enjoyed that punt play, though.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Did he score a touchdown on that?
Yes. The special teams plays, the 2-point conversion, that was slick. But also, you burn that, you can pretty much know.
Hey, Moose, shut up before I muzzle you. I'm about to muzzle you. Moose, you're not intimidating. You are a little bear bat pig.
Mouth breather. So Star Wars. Obviously, we don't need to talk about this much. Everybody in the world has seen it. I'm not going to break this down. The only thing that I think is worth saying about this is that there's...
As long as there's someone there, he won't stop.
So obviously I'm excited for this movie, but it doesn't need to be broken down. Everyone in the world is doing this already. Just fucking YouTube it. The only thing that I will say that I think is worth mentioning is that they're clearly trying to throw you off the trail of what the actual story is. Most of the points that you could have gleaned from this trailer, the way that they framed it and set it up, is probably just bullshit. Like, they try to show you that Kylo Ren is going to kill Princess Leia. I don't think it's going to happen. What else do you say about this? It looks great. I'll go see it, obviously, opening night. Hot take? I don't care about the porgs. I don't think they're cute. I think they're stupid.
Goose is way cuter than the porgs. They're kind of similar in the way they look. Goose from Saga. But,
Goose is way better. Also, he's a badass. So
yeah.
I thought
he wields an axe.
I didn't know if you referred to Moose as Goose sometimes. Great. So the trailer that I actually cared about is the New Mutants trailer. So I sent this to you this morning. I'm a big New Mutants fan.
Yeah.
And you got a pretty good trailer here that introduces you to all of the New Mutants.
Unexpected type of trailer.
Well, if you would have listened a couple of weeks ago when I said that this was basically going to be a horror movie, a haunted house movie, you would have known that.
I believe you, and I didn't listen to you.
Great. So you get the trailer along with the creepy kids version singing of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall. The character breakdown, and I think that a lot of people aren't really familiar with this, and it doesn't really garner a lot of attention other than that Marvel crawl that you get at the beginning of the trailer. But the other thing about this is I feel like they've got a cast that has some actual star power, because Roberto da Costa, who is Sunspot in this, is played by a kid named Henry Zaga, who is in 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, yeah, I remember that kid. Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy, the main girl from Split.
Yep.
She's playing Ilyana Rasputin, a.k.a. Colossus's little sister Magic.
You have Arya in this?
Arya Stark. Maisie Williams as Rain Sinclair, a.k.a. Wolfsbane, a.k.a. basically just a werewolf. You get Charlie Heaton, the older brother of the kid who goes to the Upside Down from Stranger Things, playing Sam Guthrie, who is Cannonball.
They have a cast, yes.
Yeah, and Danielle Moonstar as Mirage, or whatever you want to call her, who is basically a Native American who can project everyone's worst fears on everybody.
Oh my God.
And also you get a demon bear. The fucking demon bear. So yeah, if you read New
Bear?
Mutants, you're pumped for this. They don't show the demon bear, they just kind of show it clawing through the wall. But you can
is that
tell
when the
it's a
wall,
demon bear.
is that when you saw that figure pushing through the wall?
So the story of the demon bear is that it kills her parents, and it keeps coming after her, and she has these nightmares and whatever, yada, yada, yada. I think that this is going to be an interesting take on an X-Men story that is classic, aka Old Man Logan. It's in that same vein. I like that they're doing something different with this and not just shoving more X-Men movies down my throat. What'd you think?
Like I said, since I didn't listen to you, it was unexpected. I like that Marvel is doing this different route. I'm not going to call it the DC route, but it is a lot darker from just looking at the trailer than a lot of the stuff that they've been putting out recently.
I don't know if it's actually going to be scary, though.
Yeah,
it's got that insane asylum feel about it, but the big scares in the trailer, if you know the story, you know probably what they are. And I'm not going to spoil it because I think that'd be a shitty thing to do, but
yeah,
it doesn't really make me feel anxious or scared. I don't know.
At the same time, I don't want them to go too far into the horror route. I want it to have the origins of the New Mutants in it, and so on.
Part of that is horror, though, because that's what Dani Moonstar does. She's psionic. She literally projects a human being's worst fear. So part of it should be scary. And it does the same thing to her with the demon bear, because obviously the demon bear killed her parents. That's her worst fear.
I just love superheroes in general as fictional characters. I don't want to feel like this is more of a horror movie than it is a superhero movie.
Well, I'm excited.
It could be a median in that, but I like the fact when I go see these movies that I can look at these characters and recognize them from comics and just pop culture in general. Yeah, what is going to be, what do you think the overall theme of this story is going to be?
It's from their perspective. They're terrified because they're just now turning into mutants. Their powers are manifesting now. They're in basically an insane asylum. So the story of Rain Sinclair is that her parents are hardcore, like religious, super fundamental, and they see her as a problem because she turns into a werewolf. Obviously, they think she's cursed, which valid.
Yeah.
I think that that's part of who the villain is going to be in this.
Okay.
It's just the hardcore fundamentalists that see her as evil, even though she's just a girl who has powers that she can't control and doesn't understand.
Yeah.
So that's going to be part of it, and the rest of it's going to be them trying to figure out their powers without terrifying the shit out of each other.
That's the shit I want to see.
In the vein of X-Men, the Gambit movie is finally happening and will be directed by Gore Verbinski, who did the American version of The Ring and a couple Pirates of the Caribbean movies. This is set to release February 14th of 2019, and that's how you know it's actually happening, is that they give it a release date.
Wow.
Which is interesting that Fox/Marvel does this Valentine's Day thing, because they did it 2 years ago with Deadpool too. And they had a really good marketing scheme at the time where they were like, it's Ryan Reynolds and Morena Baccarin, and they're on this billboard, and in the background you see Deadpool, but it's like a romantic comedy type billboard.
Yeah, you don't understand.
But
what
yeah,
it's
they're
really
trying to trick you into it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we see some more of that, because obviously Rami LeBeau is that guy that's super romantic and just, well, actually more of a creep job. But all right, moving on.
Oh wait, who are they going to cast as Gambit? Do we know yet?
Yeah, it's Channing Tatum.
It's Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
100%.
He's still on for this.
Okay,
which
cool.
I'm not super pumped about his shitty Cajun accent, but I guess we'll see. Brace yourself, Mark.
Yep.
You ready for this?
Yep.
We're getting a sequel to Beetlejuice.
No.
Yes.
Are you a fan of those movies?
That movie?
Yeah, that movie.
And the cartoon from the early 90s?
As you can see, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, obviously. I love the original. Michael Keaton.
Really?
Creepy Winona Ryder. That was Winona Ryder, right?
Oh my God, Winona Ryder was super creepy in that movie.
That was basically like her first big movie though, right?
I had nightmares about those little voodoo head guys for the longest time. That was the scene where he's like sitting in the doctor's office or something, right? In the lobby or some shit.
Yeah, when he's basically
oh my God,
dead or in hell. I don't really know what they were trying to get across. And then there was like that
dinosaur, the alligator face man, or what?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that they turned that into a children's cartoon, because that was not for kids.
Yeah, it was not.
But also Michael Keaton. You think he'll come back and do Beetlejuice again? Has to, right?
I don't know.
Speaking of reboots or sequels or something, we are also getting a new Addams Family animated movie. And wow. I would think that this wasn't a big deal and it wasn't worth seeing, except it's going to be from one of the co-directors of Sausage Party. So tell me, Mark, did you see Sausage Party?
I did not. Did you?
I did.
Was it funny?
Yes, but it was also incredibly weird, which is perfect for the Addams Family.
Fun fact about myself. Do you know one of my favorite games growing up on Sega Genesis? Or no, Sega handheld?
Game Gear?
Game Gear. On Sega Game Gear was the Addams Family game.
Those movies are amazing.
Really fun. But yeah, the movies were pretty good too.
Rest in peace, Raul Julia. All right, that's really all the news that I have for this week. It's been a very slow week. I really thought there would have been more coming out of New York Comic Con, but...
What the hell is wrong with Harvey Weinstein?
He's a piece of shit.
Seriously, man.
Same for Andy Signor from, what was that, Screen Junkies? They do movie fights and shit. Yeah, he did the same fucking junk, except he wasn't rich and famous enough to get away with it. Yeah, they're dickheads.
And now Batfleck is going to become, they're calling him Buttman online.
That's the best they can do on the internet right now.
What can you do that's better than that?
I can think, I don't know. If you gave me more than 10 seconds to figure it out, I'm sure I could.
Next episode, come up with a better name that involves his
sexual harassment. Well, okay.
Happened.
Here's the thing. People are shitting on Ben Affleck for basically defending Harvey Weinstein. It came out like a week ago that they mentioned Ben Affleck groping a girl on TRL from fucking 15 years ago. I understand that it's shitty, but you're not the same person that you were 15 years ago.
And did the person he groped, I didn't even look too far into this. Did the woman he groped come out about this and bring it up?
It was on TV.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like she came out in the press and said, well, what about when Ben Affleck did this to me?
You know what? I really don't know. I shouldn't speak on this because I don't know. I don't like Ben Affleck. I like what he does on screen sometimes. You need to be able to separate the person. I can't even say that, because at a certain point, a person is such a huge piece of shit that you can't enjoy their work anymore, aka Harvey Weinstein. But Ben Affleck, I don't necessarily put on that spectrum for now.
He's Batman, man. That's all I care about.
You can't just forgive him because he's Batman. The real Batman would never grope a woman on Total Request Live with Carson Daly. Yeah. Right, Joe?
Yeah, I just really don't care. All I'm focused on right now with Ben Affleck is how he's going to be in Justice League coming out.
It's an art. Separating the artist from their creation it's important because there will always be people that you disagree with, but you still want to consume the things that they do. Let's
think of some examples. Van Gogh. Didn't he like try to kill his wife and then ripped his ear off or something?
Yeah, he cut his ear off and tried to... Are we really going to go through this right now?
I don't know. You want to just start going through psychos that put out good art and work?
That had good art? Yeah. I don't know. What about Kurt Cobain? He was a heroin addict.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that documentary on HBO? I forgot what it's called.
Soaked in Bleach?
No, it's Montage of Heck.
Okay. So there's been more than one. Maybe Soaked in Bleach was the one from Courtney Love's perspective. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's not go down that road.
Not everyone can be a perfect person. And if you only enjoy the work that perfect people do, you're not going to see a lot of really good stuff. Why would you bring up Harvey Weinstein? Look, he's a huge piece of shit. I get it.
Some of the best work comes from the most unstable people, is what we're saying.
Yeah, but also apparently jerked off into a potted plant. Just a weird guy. And
I didn't hear that.
A really gross dude, too. Like, if you look at pictures of him, just disgusting.
What's your problem, man?
Just a piece of shit.
All right, Moose. That's what Moose thinks he's a piece of shit, too, obviously.
That's because he is a piece of shit. Worst man alive of the week. Can we move on to our movie review, please?
Let's move on. I know this is what you've been waiting for all week.
It's really not.
It's what you've been looking forward to. Cut it out. You know, every time you bark, your butthole inflates. It's kind of ridiculous. You should be embarrassed.
On the unluckiest day of the year, Friday the 13th in October, you made me go see Happy Death Day.
I'm going to try to defend myself in the least bit that I can now.
That's perfect. Okay.
So I was listening to the Nerdist podcast with Chris Hardwick, obviously hosting it, and he brought on Jason Blum. And when he was talking to him, his wife was in the background, and they were talking about how they just saw Happy Death Day. And it's honestly, he sounded genuine. He sounded like he really enjoyed the movie. So I wasn't looking forward to this movie. I wasn't even thinking that I didn't even think I was going to go see it. But after listening to him on the podcast, he convinced me. And I saw ratings on Rotten Tomatoes as opposed to The Foreigner, which we were thinking about seeing with Jackie Chan. And I love Jackie Chan movies, but from the I love Rumble in the Bronx, those kind of movies that he used to do. Obviously Rush Hour, that kind of stuff. All the reviews I was seeing is people just saying, man, Jackie, this is not like your older stuff.
That sucks.
And I didn't want to watch a movie like that. I didn't want possibly one of the last movies I see Jackie Chan in.
No. Let me stop you there because they're already doing Rush Hour 4.
Oh, all right. Well, I didn't know that, so I'm going to see that.
So does that mean you?
One of the last movies for a while that I would see Jackie Chan in to be a movie that I disliked greatly. So
let me go on a little diatribe here. Chris Hardwick has never said anything bad about anyone to their face.
Yeah, that's true.
He will not disparage anyone that comes on his podcast. And also, he's a fucking sellout. Not because of anything he did with Nerdist or any of the production companies work with, because you see him on fucking Comcast commercials now. Literally, the most hated company in America.
Yeah.
For the last 10 years running. Because nerds hate Comcast. Because they butcher your privacy and fucking curtail your bandwidth for your internet and make you pay based on the amount of data you use. He's the biggest backstabbing, and Comcast knew this, and they went after him. They went after him and paid him a shitload of money.
I've never seen him on a Comcast
for this fucking company. I immediately stopped watching and listening anything he did because I can't get behind that.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not poor, but I'm also very, very much not rich. I would never take a handout from a company that I absolutely despised.
And honestly, what he really needed that money. Do you think he thought about that?
He married into one of the richest families
Comcast
in the world.
To nerds, to the general population of who his supporters are. Do you think he really made that relation?
If he
said, "Wow, this is probably not a good idea,"
because how do you not realize that? If your entire claim to fame is being a nerd, and you're so out of touch with those other people in your wheelhouse, then yeah, dude, fucking shame on you. That's shitty.
All right.
Not that I have strong feelings about this, but also, fuck Chris Hardwick, you're a sellout. All right. Happy Death Day.
All right, well, there goes my the reasoning for why I wanted to see this.
You know that
I was trying to use a reliable source that I thought maybe you'd go along with, but obviously that backfired on me.
Please tell me that you agree that he's never said anything mean about any of the people on his podcast.
He hasn't.
Okay. At least we're on the same page there. But
he hasn't. Like, even in one of the season finales for The Walking Dead, on Talking Dead, they did it outside, and it was pouring like a freaking tsunami just hit, and all these people are getting up and leaving, and he's just like trying to talk to the audience and make them stay and like make jokes about it. I'm just like, God, you're the nicest guy, but you're under this like umbrella, and all these people are just getting
it's just fake
shit on right now.
Yeah, just like your fucking love.
Like, you're not making it better. Just go on with the show, or stop it for at least until the rain calms down. But anyways, yeah,
fuck out of here with that nonsense. And look, I like a lot of the stuff that Blumhouse and Blumhouse Tilt do. But I'm not going to defend this movie that was bad.
Yeah.
I'm still going to give my opinion about it. Anyways, Happy Death Day, 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, 73% from fans, under $5 million on the budget, which completely makes sense. This is a perfect Blumhouse movie because they're already expected to triple that in the opening weekend on domestic box office. That is a Blumhouse movie. That is why they're making money. So this is directed by Christopher Landon, who is best known for actually writing the last 4 Paranormal Activity movies. It was co-written by a guy named Scott Lobdell, who is a 54-year-old dude who has really only written mediocre comics in the past. I didn't even have to Google this to know that it was a couple of older dudes who probably went to smaller art schools and dropped out because they have no fucking idea what a real college is actually like. Super over the top. Every girl in a sorority is a bitch. All of them only like never eat carbs. It's just stupid.
It's a
this movie made me very angry. In case you could not tell.
Generally, I think we are the wrong audience for this movie.
Who is the right audience for this?
2 mid-20s, upper 20s, 20-year-old men going into this movie and watching it. We're not in high school. We're not in early college with our girlfriends watching this movie. It just wasn't a good time, I would say. We're not the audience that this movie is going to attract. I think this is more focused on the Scream type, high school age kid type movie. Yeah.
Any other slasher than this. Like it's kind of just a sorry excuse for it. Okay, I'm going to try to like curtail my anger about this movie and just give thoughts instead. I'm going to stop yelling because I will say that the saving grace for this movie was Jessica Rothe, who's the star.
Yeah,
she's good. Best known for being in La La Land, and she honestly deserved a better script than this because the script was terrible. That said, nobody else cast-wise in this is really worth mentioning other than the co-star dude who just really needed to shave his nasty sideburns and mustache.
Oh, what were with those sideburns?
That was terrible. I don't know if they were just trying to convey like we're in college and we don't know what hygiene is, but dude, that was gross.
His sideburns were like that kid in high school that just started getting that little patch under his chin.
And was like his dad wasn't around, so he didn't teach him how to shave it. I will denote the spoilers. I don't want to ruin this in case somebody wants to see it. Quickly, I'll give the plot, and if you've seen the trailer for this, you know what it is. It's a girl who gets murdered every day, and she wakes up in the same situation. It's Groundhog Day with a little bit of campy horror. It's not really anything more than that. She has to figure out who's killing her, otherwise she's just stuck in this loop, and eventually she'll just die for good, maybe. I don't know, they're not really clear on that. So if you've seen the trailer for this, you know that the killer is a person in a baby mask.
By the way, was their college not called the Babies, their mascot?
It had to be, right? It was the Bayfield Babies.
I couldn't find one banner that said, everything said go, and then it was like B something, and it didn't finish, like it was cut out of the
I think
picture.
It was Bayfield.
I think it was Babies, though.
It had to be Babies. Like, why else would you have that dumbass mascot?
Same time, I didn't want to think that a university would have a mascot be a baby. Like,
you
why?
know what's saddest about this is that when they were writing it, they were thinking like, yeah, this is the next Jason. This is the next Michael Myers. It's going to be Babyface. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? How much blow were you doing when you wrote this fucking movie?
There was a possibility that maybe they just wanted to use this mask for the killer, but at the same time, they kind of wanted to save their ass and say, well, we'll make it the mascot. So if people don't like it, we can just say, well, it was the mascot. It's what he had access to. He had this mask.
That's very dumb.
For school representation. Do you get what I'm saying, though?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that your idea of it is wrong. I'm just saying that their logic in your scenario was dumb. I don't know. This movie just didn't have any idea what it wanted to be, and it changed tones, I don't know, maybe a dozen times. It moved from jump scare to ridiculous, campy thriller to full-on terrible college comedy. Like, it was like... There was
some levity in it.
It's like the National Lampoon movies that went straight to VHS.
There was some levity in the movie. There were certain parts that were genuinely funny.
It's like the American Pie movies post Stifler and Jason Bateman.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty fucking... This should have been straight to fucking digital.
It wasn't that bad.
It was very bad. And what sucks is they spent $5 million to make this, and they're going to triple it in their opening fucking weekend because I was dumb enough to go see it. And I didn't even get my fucking movie pass card yet, so I didn't even fucking get to go see it.
Fuck movie pass.
Okay.
They should start instantly not charging people that sign up for the first month because it fucking takes a month to get the card. I'm instantly bitching. I'm calling customer service right when I get my card. It's been 2.5 weeks for me. It's been like 3.5 for you, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time. But let's get back to the movie. I mentioned Jessica Rothe, who I really does a good job in this. I think she's a very good actress, and there are big things coming down the pipe for her. But she plays a horrible bitch in this movie, along with all of her friends who are also horrible bitches. Super stereotype sorority girls that are idiots, and all they care about is getting drunk and getting laid and whatever. How many times did you laugh out loud at this horrible bitch getting exactly what she deserved?
I laughed. Part of why I enjoyed this movie in the beginning was because she was such a bitch. When you started to try to point out who the usual suspects would be, there were so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
There was the guy she didn't text back. Yeah, there was the teacher that was having an affair with her. There were just a bunch of different suspects that this murderer could have been.
Sorry, Mark, I needed a beer. And your dog is staring at me. I said this when we reviewed Belko Experiment, and I will say it again here. You get a dozen chances to kill somebody. You need to be creative. And they did not get creative with this, which sucks. You can get the fuck out of here with your baseball bats and your kitchen knives and tackling her into a fountain and all this other dumb shit. That's not interesting to me. Why can you not be more creative if you have this many chances to murder someone?
What do you mean? They hit on every aspect.
No, they didn't. All they did was fucking big kitchen knives and baseball bats. It was all the same shit.
I don't know if I agree with that.
What was creative about this and something that you had not seen before?
I mean, it wasn't creative, but there was a lot of different ways she was murdered. That's all I'm getting at. I feel like you were saying that it was just typical. She was literally incinerated in one scene. She was stabbed. She was bludgeoned.
Seen it.
Obviously, everyone has seen every type of way a person has been killed in a movie.
That's not
all
true.
Been done.
No, that's not true.
To some extent, I would say.
All I'm saying is you had an opportunity here, and I feel as though it was squandered. And maybe it was that $5 million budget that just, maybe if you had $6 million, you could have pulled her apart with cars or something more fucked up. But also, this was a PG-13 movie, so they weren't going to get super gory about it.
That's what I was going to say.
But you can allude to the idea that she's going to do whatever. I don't know. Look, it's just be creative. I don't care about kitchen knives and baseball bats and guns. All right. I promise I'm done getting worked up about this now.
But we do get something different at the very end, don't we?
No.
The cupcake.
All right. We'll come back to that in spoilers. I have one more thing that I want to say, and then I'm going to ask you a question. The main character, whose name is Tree, by the way, whatever. She's stuck in this fucking loop. She keeps getting murdered. It's her birthday. She can't figure out why this day keeps happening over and over again. But if it's your birthday and you don't want anyone to know that it's your birthday, why would you change your ringtone to announce that it's your birthday? Because her dad calls her every morning, and it's this stupid fucking song that I'll never get out of my head now.
It's your birthday, yeah, it's your birthday. Something like that.
So fucking stupid. What a stupid plot device. And that's all that it was. It served no other purpose.
So what rating are you going to give this movie?
I'm going to give this a 3.
Wow, that's pretty generous.
I told you, Jessica Rothe did a great job. That's it. And I laughed a few times at how dumb it was.
I'm going to give it a 7.
Are you fucking kidding me?
-2. I'm going to give it a 5.
I'm still mad about it.
I laughed, had some levity. Had
But
some
did you
enjoyment.
laugh at it or did you laugh with it?
Both. I still enjoy laughing at movies, though. That's the thing. That's the thing about me. For me, a shitty movie is one that is terrible but takes itself way too seriously. But
This one did not.
does it so intensely to where it's not funny? Like there's movies that take themselves seriously and you're like, oh, that's stupid, and you laugh about it. But movies that do it so intensely to the point where you're like, wow, you guys just need to stop. Those are the movies. Like
I mean, in terms of that,
what, like Sleepless with Denzel.
Sleepless was Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Fucking racist.
Jamie Foxx, yes. That was the worst movie of the year so far.
No.
What was the worst movie of the year?
Oh, man. I'm going to have to think about that. This is a strong contender, though. And let's be clear. The year is not over.
The year's not over.
The year is not over. Maybe we'll address that towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because Justice League is still coming, too.
Shut up. No way.
All right, Mark. The last thing I'm going to ask you before we get into spoilers. How many days in a row would you have to be murdered before you just didn't give a shit anymore?
One. Fucking
Okay.
one day and I'd
Fair
be
enough.
like, I'm done. Instantly, I guess two. Because after you were murdered once, you'd probably wake up. And then halfway through the day, you'd be like, wow.
You just think you're invincible,
am I just having
right?
deja vu? And
Yeah.
then you'd get murdered one more time and you'd realize this is the exact same day I already lived. Something's fucked up. So probably within 2 days, I would pack my bags. I would instantly not speak a word to anybody, get in a car, and just drive far, far away.
See, I think I would go steal a Ferrari. Just do whatever the fuck I wanted. There's literally no consequences in this. I guess that's part of the problem that I had with this is it would take me 3 days until I realized I could just go do whatever the fuck I want. And that's exactly what I would go do.
I think that's another way that this movie did a good job of portraying is the fact that Tree, the main character, as she's getting killed, just the ups and downs and her reactions and her emotions, how they're just changing. A few of the times she's just getting very anxious and freaking out about the situation that's going on and how she keeps waking up and being killed over and over again. But then it gets to the point where she's like, fuck it, I'm getting naked, I'm walking through the quad. That kind of stuff was funny.
The montage was stupid.
But then it kind of went back to her freaking out again when she figures out, I don't have all the answers.
Yeah, it sounds like you're about to spoil this. So the last thing I'll say about this before we get into spoilers is, I've said it before and I'll say it again. When we talk to Luke from Blumhouse, the horror movie expert, the only thing that I ask as a movie viewer, a horror movie lover, is that you don't treat me like I'm stupid. And that's exactly what this movie did. Because there are so many gaping plot holes and just shitty things that they don't even bother trying to address. That's really what killed this movie for me. And that's why I gave it such a shitty score. So should we spoil this now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So at this point, we're going to spoil it. Be warned, but also don't go see this piece of shit in the first place. Why is she even in this time loop? Because they don't ever address it.
That is one thing I was kind of upset about. Walking out of the theater, there were no answers solved.
This is just a shittier version of Groundhog Day. But at least in Groundhog Day, you knew that he was it was a sign from above, from whatever was causing this, that he needed to be a better person. That's not what this is. She just needed to survive.
I thought the ending was going to get to the fact that it was somehow her mom who had passed away doing this to her to make her a better person and realize how shitty of a person she has become.
That would have been a better ending. So the serial killer has literally no motivation, no reason for existing. No relation
to anyone.
Why wouldn't you just say oh, this is the guy that murdered my mom? That would tie it in so much better than just this is a guy.
Yeah.
On that same trail. So you've got this convicted serial killer. He's killed 8 girls, 8 college-aged women. And you're going to put him in a hospital on a college campus. What? How fucking stupid do you think I am? I can't even.
But that's where he was convicted. That's where they caught him. He murdered 6 girls at that school, I think.
So you're just going to fucking leave him at the school?
Well, they had a standoff with him and they shot him, I think, around the campus. So yeah, they're going to take him to the nearest hospital, I guess.
I'm fairly certain that is not how that would work.
I don't know what would happen if we had that situation in Charleston, Illinois, where we went to school at Eastern Illinois. There's one hospital, Sarah Bush.
They'd probably take him to Champaign.
If there was a guy murdering all these college students and the cops shot him.
Actually, if it was in Charleston, they probably just would have let him die.
Yeah, they probably would have let him die. Let the meth heads eat him. Or some shit.
I just don't. That's so dumb. I don't get it. But we talked a little bit about the shitty writing in this, or I did, I guess. You get some golden lines like Jessica Rothe saying, "Why are you looking at me like I just took a dump on your mom's face?"
On your mom's head.
Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just terrible.
I think my favorite part in this whole movie is, I think it's the third time she's killed or second time, when she goes into the hot boy that her best friend's talking to, but she's low-key hooking up with him. She goes up to his room with him, and he's a super douchebag. He like turns off his lights, has like a disco ball and all these like strobe lights going, and is blasting music. And then in the background, here comes the babyface murderer, and he is just hacking away at this guy while she's turned around on her phone, kind of embarrassed about what this guy's doing. And she turns around again and sees the babyface murderer, but to not try to confuse everyone, at her surprise party, he was wearing the mask. The hot guy was wearing the mask to surprise her, and she freaked out, but it was actually him on the mask. So she figured it was just this guy playing the joke again on her, but it was actually really the babyface killer. And then what I'm getting to is that one drunken college kid that came in the room. And what did he say? I don't think he said anything.
He doesn't say anything. He just yells.
He just mumbled something while she was about to be strangled and killed by this guy. But that was probably one of my favorite.
I think my favorite part of that scene was when they go up to in his bedroom and he goes, "Welcome to the Pleasure Dome."
Yeah, he was, like I said, he was super douchey.
See, that just to me is like, you're so out of touch with what actual people act like.
Yeah.
At one point, she wakes up after being murdered, probably the 7th time. Wakes up and she passes out, and she wakes up in a hospital again after that. And the doctor says, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be alive."
You have all these lacerations.
Because she has so much trauma internally.
Yeah.
She gets killed a few more times.
And she's better?
But then at the end, she's all good. I don't even know what to say about this anymore. She kills 2 people in this movie, and obviously just is not going to suffer any consequences for any of it. They're just going to let her go because she's a pretty girl, I guess. Why are we still talking about this?
I don't know. Like I said, we're the wrong audience. You're going to have high schoolers going in to see this movie with all their friends. They're going to, think it's funny because of the fact that when you're in high school, you love seeing other people be mean to each other. That's just usually something you enjoy, is friends, or even if they're not friends, just talking shit about one another. You enjoy drama.
This is what college is actually like.
You enjoy drama, though, growing up. It's a fact. And so this movie hits on that definitely. The target audience is for sure high schoolers, or in that age group. So
yeah, you're not wrong. It's PG-13. I totally get it, but this movie sucked.
So many kids walking out of the theater are going to think this was a great movie, though. And you know that.
Go see it instead. I think this movie had probably the dumbest ending possible. They throw you off the scent, and she dies again anyways, and you find out it's the roommate, and the roommate has zero setup whatsoever. You have no idea to think, no reason to believe that she would possibly do this for any reason, because she's nice to her the entire time until she gives her a poison cupcake. I just realized when I said that out loud how fucking stupid it was. I'm done talking about this. I'm done talking about this fucking movie.
First of all, it's a red velvet cupcake. It looks super delicious. And yes, she poisons it. And
I'm done, man. I can't do it anymore.
It's so stupid.
It's so fucking
even
stupid.
Tree, the main character, was like, "You're trying to poison me over a boy?" Just her motives were out of whack. She was psychotic. Yeah. But in the end, she gets pushed out the window, falls face flat onto the concrete, and smashes her head open, which you don't see because it's PG-13. But in my mind, I saw it because I'm a sicko like that.
Yeah, you disgusting bastard.
But
would you have enjoyed this more if the killer would have been literally anyone else?
But a baby face?
No, I mean just not her roommate. What if it had been her dad?
That would have been very depressing ending, considering her mom died of what? Cancer?
They don't even say.
Yeah, they don't say.
What if it had been Carter, the guy who was helping her the entire time?
That would have been really fucked
Wouldn't that have been a better twist than what we got in this piece of shit?
Yeah, but you're not going to do that with this type of movie. You need a love
because
interest
this
at
type
the
of
end.
movie's just going to suck.
You need a love interest at the end for
That's fucking stupid.
this type of movie.
The last thing I'll say about this is that I would have been much more upset if they had gotten through this entire movie without making a mention of Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. Because obviously that's pretty much where this started. This idea that the day you wake up, it's the same thing over and over again. So they get to the end, they're sitting in a diner, and they mention Groundhog Day. I lament the fact that they could possibly live in a universe where that movie didn't exist. So I'm glad that they at least address it. And it's kind of just poking fun at yourself, which, to its credit, I can say two nice things about this movie. It is aware of what it is.
If I see anyone wearing this baby face mask this Halloween, you're getting instantly punched in the face.
I will say that as of 1 minute ago, I see an article on Screen Rant that says, Happy Death Day director Chris Landon already has plans for a sequel. So
yes, I saw that too.
We will be skipping that one.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure. So that's our movie review for the week. Moose would like to recommend barking.
He recommends rawhide bones and taking poos right before bed.
Also humping pillows, puking on hardwood floors,
sniffing around for no apparent reason.
Mark, do you have any recommendations for this week?
Did I recommend this last week? Curb Your Enthusiasm is hilarious right now. That second episode, did you watch it?
I have not seen any of this season yet, and I really need to get on that.
Oh my God. Larry David is just so spot on with situations in life that happens.
Being a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, that too. But just real briefly, there was a part where he got in, there was a cookie platter in a hotel lobby, and there were tongs there. And he was like, no, fuck this. I'm not using the tongs. So he picked up the cookie.
Wait. Is that your Larry David impression?
No, my Larry David. No, I can't. Hold on. I used to be able to do a good one. Let me find it. I'm not using the tongs. No, that's not a good one either. All right, scratch that. I'm not.
Nope,
I think I said Curb Your Enthusiasm last week, actually.
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
I just finished Master Nun season 2, and I don't think you really enjoyed the show that much. I heard you stopped like halfway through the first season, right?
No, I finished the first season. I got into the second season, and it was all black and white, and it just kind of didn't do it for me.
I really liked how the second season ended. You should definitely finish it. I can understand what you're saying. The first couple episodes were but the way this season ended, definitely looking forward to the third season and kind of seeing where things pan out. So I would for sure recommend, if you have watched the first season of Master Nun, watch the second season. No doubt about it. Start the series too, because it's pretty good. Aziz Ansari writes some pretty funny stuff.
He's a funny cat.
He is. I heard he's also a psycho quietly in real life. I don't know. People have just told me.
You can't just say that and not drop any details.
No, I can't.
Okay.
Those are my sources.
Yeah, my sources are, I don't know, and maybe. All right, my recommendation of the week is actually two things that I haven't even seen yet, but I'm excited for both of them. Hey, look, it's October. I'm into scary shit. I got a couple scary things for you. I'm going to watch on Amazon Prime a TV show called Lore, based on a podcast. Apparently, they're just kind of creepy stories that they're now going to lay background scenes over. Sounds good to me. Drunk Erica listens to it, or used to listen to it or something, and obviously to turn a storytelling podcast into a TV show, probably pretty good, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be spending money on this shit.
What is this podcast called?
It's called Lore, Lore.
Ooh.
And it just debuted on Amazon Prime, so check it out. The other thing I will recommend is something else that I haven't seen called Gerald's Game. Just debuted on Netflix. It's a movie based on a book written by Stephen King. It's got some weird, creepy sex vibe to it, which basically every Stephen King book does. But this couple goes to a cabin in the woods to kind of revamp their marriage. The husband handcuffs the wife to the bed frame and has a heart attack.
What?
And she basically just has a psychotic episode. And she's seeing all these things, and maybe she's not seeing these things. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds pretty creepy. Again, that's Gerald's Game on Netflix.
I was just thinking of, since you brought up, with Halloween coming up, you brought up these horror movies or horror shows that you're going to start watching. Did you ever see, I'm trying to think back of movies that I wanted to see that I just never watched, because Kelly will never watch scary movies with me. But did you see that movie Clown, where that dad... He has a clown that was supposed to show up for his son's birthday, and it doesn't show up, so he puts on the clown outfit, and the nose like won't come off, and then starts just like it's part of his face now, and he literally is turning into a clown.
What?
But it looks freaky as fuck. And
No.
Joe Rogan brought it up on his latest episode of his podcast. They were talking about it. And I guess it might be on Netflix. So I kind of want to check that out.
You know what you and I should do? We should just sit down one night in our respective apartments and watch it at the same time.
Okay.
And we can text each other.
Yeah. Or just FaceTime each other.
It'd
Leave the
be
FaceTime up.
Super cute. Just a date night.
It's like, all right, are you at the Netflix? Are you on Netflix right now?
Start it in
All right.
3, 2,
2,
1, go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down.
I'll watch a creepy ass movie. I don't care.
After we wrap this podcast, seriously watch the trailer. You've never heard of this movie?
I don't think so. I will watch pretty much anything, as evidenced by me going to see Happy Death Day.
It's really disturbing. There's a scene in the trailer where the dad is freaking out because the clown nose won't come off, and he's literally like hacking at it with a knife to get it off.
Oh,
And he's like realizing he's becoming a freaking clown.
I'm in.
It came out in 2014, I guguess.
And you think it's on Netflix?
It has Eli Roth in it.
Oh, it's a Eli Roth. No, it was probably directed by Eli Roth.
Maybe it was directed by him.
Directed by John Watts. Wow,
Eli
this looks
Roth
creepy as dick. Yeah, Eli Roth might have produced it. If you know Eli Roth, I believe he did the Hostel movies. Basically just torture porn and shit like that. But yeah, this looks creepy as dick.
Yeah, what are we talking about next week? Do we even know?
I don't. Maybe we'll watch some of these campy, shitty horror films.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do
that
a
might
review.
not be a bad idea, actually.
Halloween coming up. By the way, guys, Halloween's coming up. You got to think of what you're going to wear, what your costume's going to be. So,
Mark, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I don't know. It's either...
Don't fucking lie to me.
I'm thinking Batman or...
The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight or Batman with sonar vision. I'm not sure yet.
Good googly moogly.
All right, Smithers, I'm closing this bitch out. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Chumps out, motherfuckers!
Hey.